Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today, I have with me a first-time horror director. He just recently did a short. I actually seen. I actually enjoyed. It's called Headstone of Solitude, a symphony of horror. I have with us Sid Stokes. Sid, thanks for coming, my friend.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. It's great to be here.
It's a pleasure as well. All right, so please tell everyone about Headstone of Solitude.
So, Headstone of Solitude is essentially this tale of kind of this evil young man. I mean, he kind of is descent into madness over the death of his wife, and he kind of just grows more and more paranoid throughout the film over the surrounding circumstances of his wife's death. And I think it's essentially this tragic tale of, just kind of a young man just in a descent to madness, really, And I think a lot of the film is kind of revolved around his own dark reflection of himself.
So, where was your inspiration? Is it something that a personal level, or
Mhm. I think a lot of um, like early 1900s silent horror films, like Nosferatu or The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, things like that, Dracula, and then especially the works of David Lynch as well. It's just kind of a mesh of different influences from horror and just kind of this existential emptiness that I really admire in certain films.
and it does, and it definitely gives that early 1900s feel
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
color, even the the way the characters talk, the
Yeah,
music. I mean, it definitely gives you, it's a throwback
yeah,
to
definitely.
early horror.
It was definitely really, the first time I had seen Nosferatu, I was just so amazed by it. I mean, not only is it a super old film, I mean, it dates back over 100 years now, but I think it's just a beautiful display of horror.
And I agree. And by the way, you did a great job. You're in this movie. You're acting. Is
Thank you
this
so
your,
much.
you're welcome. Is this your acting debut as well?
Yes, it is. I've never done any sort of like acting school or anything. I just hopped in front of the camera. I wrote the role for myself.
So how did you get into the old early English accent going on?
I took a little inspiration from this film by the likes of The Banshees of Inisherin, which kind of takes place in the same era and kind of has the same aesthetic almost, in early 1900s Ireland. And so, I did a little bit of research into how they talked back then as well. But yeah, essentially, it's just a little bit of preparation as I was writing. I mean, I had started writing the film with myself in mind to play the main character Williams. So I was just kind of going through it throughout the entire process of developing.
Okay. Now, production wise and development wise, how long did it take?
I would say in terms of development, I started writing the film in probably early February.
Okay.
Um, yeah, filming started the first week of April, and that took us pretty late towards the release. I would say we started probably ended filming sometime in July, like mid-July. I mean, throughout that entire process of filming, though, we were editing. I like to edit as I film, so we were never really far behind on schedule.
Now, have you started shopping around with different festivals?
Not necessarily. There's one big complication, and that is we don't own the rights to any of the music in the film, unfortunately. That it's
Uh,
yeah, a lot of copyrighted tracks, so it gets kind of sticky when it comes to going to different festivals. But definitely for my next project we can talk about a little later. I would definitely love to shop that around a little bit. I want that entire film to be original and originally composed and everything.
okay. So,
Yeah.
what got you into making horror films?
I mean, I think I really admire the simplicity of the horror genre. I mean, a lot of indie creators tend to go to the horror genre as kind of a first resort into their filmmaking career. And so I think the horror genre can certainly display a lot of different elements from different genres, all while maintaining a viewer's audience. And you know, as I said earlier, there was so much influence from the likes of David Lynch and those early 1900s silent horror films. I kind of admire the sort of emptiness to a lot of David Lynch films, and the existential dread that comes with that. And that's not always seen in a lot of horror films, but in David Lynch films, it's certainly a prevalent theme, and I really took a lot of inspiration from that.
Okay. Now, I got a chance to see this movie. Is this? Can anybody go and see it on YouTube or?
Yeah, anybody can go see it on YouTube. It's on
Oh,
Sid Cinematics on the channel.
okay,
Yeah,
well, a link will be in my description if you want.
awesome. Thank you.
I'll have it there.
Yeah, I hope everyone enjoys it for sure.
All right, let's talk about your next project.
Hmm.
What are you working on next?
So I'm actually working on a crime genre film, and it's definitely going to take some disturbing influences in that. I would say it's a borderline horror in some aspects. It's sort of this revolving door of addiction and delinquencies and violence, and it takes a lot of inspiration from Darren Aronofsky's Requiem for a Dream, which is a very disturbing film in its own
It
right.
is.
Yeah, but yeah, my next film is certainly going to be very impactful, I feel, to a lot of viewers, and I would hope that it has kind of the same effect that Requiem has.
Okay. Now, are you planning on doing a short or a full feature with this?
I think we're gonna go full feature for that one. I mean, Headstone was kind of bordering that. I mean, it was 35 minutes, so it was a little bit off, but really, a lot of festivals would consider 45 minutes and above a feature nowadays.
Mhm.
So I think we're definitely gonna be in feature territory for the next one for sure.
Okay. So, with your next movie, what did you learn from um, Headstone of Solitude that
Yeah.
for your next movie you're like, you know what, I'm gonna either did this work, I'm gonna carry this over, or didn't this didn't work, and I'm gonna carry
Hmm.
it another
I
year.
think just to continue to have fun with it, I think to just put all my passion into it and try not to stress about the little things. You're not going to be able to control every little thing, and I think just as a creative individual, anyone can take away from that is just not to look too much into the little things, and definitely try and fulfill the time that you have while you're creating something. I think looking back, Headstone was certainly it was a bit stressful to create, but it was a lot of fun, and it was a moment in time that I'll never forget. And so with my next film, I'll definitely uh, keep my eyes focused on just living in the moment.
Okay. And I'm assuming with your next film, now
Hmm.
are you going to be looking for funding, crowdfunding, or?
I think it'll be self-funded to a degree. I'll probably break out my piggy bank and put a few pennies together for it. Maybe a little bit of crowdfunding as well, but it'll be a lot of fun and development. I mean, I have some really talented people that are coming on board for it, and I think it's just going to be a fun watch. I mean, Headstone was practically done by myself and one other person, and so once we get some more people on board for this next film, I think it's going to be great.
Okay. Now, so you're a fan of the older horror.
Yes,
So,
yes.
do you draw any inspiration from any of the newer horror filmmakers? You know, Wes Craven, John Carpenter.
I would say definitely David Lynch, and I would say a lot of Ari Aster influence as well. I mean, I got a lot of comparisons with this film to Beau is Afraid,
Yeah.
which I could definitely see the resemblance to. I mean, that's just a masterpiece of a film, and it's certainly not a film that might appeal to everyone. It's a little challenging to understand, but I would say in terms of modern horror, definitely the likes of like Alfred Hitchcock, David Lynch, and Ari Aster.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right. So this is a question that I've been asking recently.
Okay.
If a big film studio came to you right now
Mhm.
and they would give you a reasonable size budget, what is a masterpiece project? I mean, it could be a reboot, it could be anything. What's
Mhm.
a master? No, let's stick with a reboot.
Mhm.
What's a masterpiece reboot or a sequel to an iconic horror movie that you would do?
That's a really good question, actually. I would probably reboot Eraserhead by David Lynch,
Ooh.
which it would be a great challenge in its own right to do that. I mean, back to earlier, the emptiness seen in throughout all of his films, and especially in Eraserhead, you can't capture that easily. That existential dread throughout, and the themes of fatherhood and adulthood overall in that film. It's not easy to capture that. I don't really think any David Lynch film could easily be rebooted, at least not for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were given the opportunity to reboot a film per se, I would take on a David Lynch film for sure.
It's the first person I ever heard said Eraserhead. Hit me. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a good one.
It would not be an easy task for
Yeah.
sure.
Awesome. So let's shoot over to the fun part of the interview. All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you 3 random questions about
Okay.
horror.
I'm
All right.
already having a lot of fun, so bring
Awesome.
it on.
So who is your favorite iconic horror character of all time?
That's a good question. Probably Norman Bates and Psycho. I mean, to the likes of Headstone, I've also gotten the comparisons to Psycho as well. I mean, they kind of share similar themes. So, I mean, you can't really get any worse than Norman Bates. I mean, he's just so iconic.
That's a good one. I mean, he
Yeah,
is the original slasher king.
absolutely. He is the first slasher king. Yeah.
He is first. He's the
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah, for sure.
What iconic horror character? The second one was what iconic horror character would you say that you're the most like?
I'm the most like.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. Probably Stu from Scream.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, I would say I'm sort of an oddity. At least that's how I view myself. And I would say Stu is a bit of an oddity in the Scream universe. So he's kind of an odd dude, a little bit silly, a little bit out there.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good one. And the third one is what iconic horror movie do you hope they don't make a reboot to? Yeah,
That's a good
leave
question.
it alone.
Um, Probably The Birds.
Didn't they do a reboot of The Birds?
I think they definitely did a reboot of Psycho and a shot for shot reboot. I'm not sure if they did one for The Birds though. They may have.
Okay, I think they did, and
Really?
it was good. I'll have to look that up, but I think they did a remake of The
Yeah, I
Birds.
think we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, I said that the one I said, which they're doing, unfortunately, is The Exorcist. I'm like, why are you
Yeah, I
reading
saw that.
this?
I mean, I saw it actually in theaters, the trailer for it, and it kind of got my hairs on my arms going up. I mean, it definitely seemed a little scary, but I don't necessarily agree with continuing that though.
Yeah, especially David Gordon Green. Like, I love Halloween 2018, and
Yeah,
like the other two. Um, but like, I'm like, ugh, I hope he doesn't give it the Halloween treatment.
I think the Halloween franchise should just die off. I mean, I saw a report the other day. I mean, I can't speak to its credibility, but I saw a report the other day on social media the saying like they were shopping the franchise to like other studios, like the rights to it.
Same
Like,
thing.
I don't know about that one.
I've seen it on multiple sources, and I think it's Incredibles.
Yeah,
They're
I
gonna
don't
bring it
I don't think that's the right move. I think they need to just let that rest.
way too soon. I feel like when it comes to listen, I like the Halloween series for the
Hmm.
most part. That needs a 10-year break.
Absolutely. I think even a little more than that.
Maybe it might not even need to come back. But
I don't
all right,
think it
so,
does either.
all right. So a studio comes up to you. They're like, Sid,
Hmm.
here's a budget, whatever you need. We want you to
Yeah.
bring your version of Halloween or your fresh coat of Halloween. How
Hmm.
would you pull that bad boy off?
To reboot Halloween.
Yeah, give it
Mm,
a flavor, spice, whatever.
that's a good question. Probably kill Michael in the first half an hour.
Okay.
That would be it. I would kill Michael in the first half an hour and see how people react to that.
And then where's the rest of the story going to go?
Hmm. I'm not quite sure, honestly. Maybe I'll have Lori go around and maybe she becomes the new Michael.
See, what I would do is I would even have Lori in it. I would just make a whole complete fucking different story.
You could do that too. Maybe you could do like
Michael
a
plays Michael
crossover
Myers.
with another franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't even be Haddonfield or anything. It would just be Michael
Mm.
Myers in Brooklyn or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I would do like a Ghostface versus Michael Myers movie. That would be pretty cool.
That would be bad fucking ass. Did
Yeah,
you know that they were planning on at one point? I think it was Michael Myers versus Ash.
really,
Yes, and I would have loved to seen that.
that would have been cool.
I don't know where that would have went or how that would have looked, but
Hmm. Would have been wild.
I enjoyed Freddy versus Jason. To be honest,
I haven't seen Freddy versus Jason. I'm not really into Freddy Krueger that much.
I'm a Freddy fan. I'm a Freddy
Yeah,
fan. Yeah.
I couldn't really get into him honestly. A little too scary for me. His appearance, a little too off-putting.
Now I've said, um, listen, I love Freddy so much. I don't want them to bring him back,
Hmm.
like because the last 4 or 5 Freddy movies were god awful. And
Hmm.
like, I mean, the first 3 were great. I think even the not the New Nightmare was good, but it was such a. I mean, it was so many bad movies in that
Hmm.
series, like bad. And Robert Englund has said that he's not planning on ever coming back as Freddy. So like, leave Freddy alone. Like, I'm
I would
okay.
agree.
I'm okay
I've
with.
just never really been into the Freddy franchise.
I'm okay with Jason being gone too.
Yeah, I actually like Jason. I think he's really appealing, and I think under the right direction, he could be a really cool reboot.
So, what was your views on the reboot, the last Jason movie, the reboot?
I haven't seen it honestly. I've only seen the first few Friday the 13th movies.
Okay, I
Yeah,
actually thought I actually thought the reboot was the best one out of the whole Friday the 13th series.
really. I'll
I
have to check
really
it out
did.
now.
I really did because it crams in. So it's literally part one, part two, and part three in one movie.
Hmm.
But but also it answers a lot of questions. I don't want to give anything away,
Yeah.
uh, but it answers a lot of questions about
Hmm.
um how Jason is able to do certain things.
I think Jason's just a really appealing character. I mean, and he's just so iconic. I mean, and when you just look at a hockey mask like that, you just think of Jason.
You do, you
Yeah.
do, and he's an intimidating force too. I mean, just
Yeah,
appearance, stature
absolutely.
is intimidating. And like, I mean, if if I walked in a dark alley, I think, oh shit, my pants would majority of them, but I think Jason would be the most terrifying. I
I
mean,
would probably just try and be friends with the guy. I
uh,
think he needs a friend.
I'm heading for the hills.
All right.
Yeah. So, um, all right. So, is there a horror movie that you're looking forward to that's coming out soon?
Probably Robert Eggers' remake of Nosferatu. That's gonna be really, really good.
It's coming out next year, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think that's gonna be insane.
Yeah. Did you like his other movies, or did you like The Witch? And
I liked The Witch and I liked The Northman.
okay, I like The Northman. I wasn't a huge fan of The Witch.
Yeah, I think it certainly shares a little bit of that emptiness I talked about earlier.
Hmm.
It's a little odd. I think Edgar's is a really insane director that I think he's going to go on to make some amazing films and really just continue to carry the torch into the greatness of cinema. I think he's going to become like the next big time director and going into his later career.
That would be amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
we need more indie horror directors because I mean, in Hollywood right now, it's getting kind of stale
Hmm.
with the horror directors, and the iconic ones are either dead or old, too old to
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
we don't have any new fresh blood in the horror
Mm.
industry and big box office. Now, are you a fan of Ty West?
I'm not.
You're not?
I mean, I liked X.
Okay. You didn't like Pearl?
Pearl's okay.
Okay. Well, I like Ty West.
I think I gotta rewatch Pearl because I actually I really do enjoy X. Like I would have to rewatch Pearl to say if I'm a fan or not.
Yeah, because X, I mean, to me, X was something that we've seen before, but we didn't see before. You know,
Yeah, it was so good though.
it was
I
so good.
really enjoyed
It was,
X.
I think, it was the best movie last. It was even tie. I would say tie between that and Barbarian.
Hmm.
Barbarian came out of nowhere, and that was great last year. But X was amazing, and then Pearl coming like right after that. It was
Yeah, and
something.
they're working on the third one right now.
Yeah, Maxine is coming out. I think it's coming out
Mhm.
this year.
I think
Uh,
that's gonna be amazing.
it's going to be amazing. I think if Maxine is as good as X or Pearl, I think this
Mm.
might be one of the best horror trilogies made in a while.
It's insane how fast that it's getting pumped out, though. I mean, I actually kind of enjoy it, like how fast it's getting pumped out.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that a lot. And
Yeah,
if it's of quality, then that's all that matters.
and it came out of left field. Like I remember, like um,
Yeah.
I, s- I, s- it's I'm about to say something that's going to piss people off, but like
Mhm.
I don't like majority of A24
I was
movies.
just gonna mention A24. I think they're doing a really good job with horror, like Bodies, 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 X. I think they're doing it. Talk to Me. I love Talk to Me. That was great.
But within the last couple of years, also the last 2 years, A21 has been cranking out great horror movies.
Yes, Talk to Me, dude. That was insane. I was honestly pissing my pants in the theater. I
I haven't
really
seen
enjoyed that film.
I haven't seen it yet, but have you seen the one where it is the girl who's a cannibal and she meets the guy? Damn, what's the name of that movie?
Oh, Bones and All.
Bones and All was
I have not
amazing.
seen that because honestly I was kind of too scared to it. It seemed very disturbing.
It is.
Yeah, I have to check that out on when I'm like on an empty stomach one night.
It's on Amazon right now, streaming for free.
Mm.
So.
Oh, jeez.
It's and that's an A24. I mean, 80,
Mhm.
A24 is definitely kicking out great horror movies from the
Yeah,
last 2 years. Um,
you really should check out Talk to Me. It's
I want to
amazing.
I want to see it in a theater. So this is my birthday weekend, so I'm thinking
Oh,
about
happy
going to
early
see it.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking about going to see it this weekend for my birthday.
Yeah, if it's still in theaters, definitely go see it in a theater. I mean,
Yeah.
I was actually watching it in theaters and the power went out for a few minutes. So
Oh,
you had to
wow.
imagine my reaction when we're watching this very gory masterpiece and then all of a sudden the lights go out.
You're like, what the fuck?
My heart was racing, man. It was insane. It's a
I,
great film though.
I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I'm like,
Mhm.
I have to go see it. And
Yeah.
I like seeing my horror movies in the theater.
Mhm.
So like, I definitely want
That
to see it.
that's the best experience. That you probably can't beat other than maybe a very huge IMAX film debut. You really can't beat a horror movie in theaters. Like there's no other experience better than that.
Best. I mean, because I was having a debate with someone about, I love indie horror movies, but they
Yeah.
don't come out most of the time. They don't come out in the theaters, so you got to
Yeah.
watch it at home. And I enjoyed them, but like I kind of wish like more indie horror movies would come out in the theater, and I
Yeah.
think it would add to the experience for me because the theater experience, watching a horror movie on a big screen TV, I don't care how big your fucking screen your TV is in your house,
Mhm.
it is not the fucking same. It
I
is not.
totally agree. I,
It
I
is not
actually
the
am
fucking
very
same.
bothered by that. My
It,
parents try and relay that to me all the time. Like, oh, we got a big TV downstairs with big speakers. I'm like, it's not the same thing.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's the sticky floors. It's the fucking smell of popcorn. It's the total blackness. I
Yeah.
mean, when you're sitting at home, this fucking damn thing right here is going off constantly. You're distracted.
I just love being in the theater. I mean,
And it's just you can just engage and put yourself
mhm.
into the movie.
Unrelated to horror, but I saw Oppenheimer 3 times this summer, 3 separate
Oh, it's
times.
that. Well, I hear
Yeah,
that's a movie.
it's insane, and you have to see it in a theater if you haven't already. And
Okay.
you know, seeing it in a theater 3 different times and 3 different experiences and 3 different perspectives on it, it was amazing. I would go see it a fourth and fifth time if I could.
I'm gonna have to go check that out too.
Yeah.
I'm a big horror movie fan, but I'm a big movie theater fan, but I haven't been in like the last 3 weeks, which I think the last one I seen was I don't know, but but like I normally go like once a week because
Mhm.
just for my YouTube show. But talk to me. Is that the best horror movie of 2023? Do you think?
Mm, I would say so. The thing about Talk to Me is it could take you very high, right? It could take you very low. There's just so much emotion in there, and it's such a paranoia filled watch as well. I mean, you're constantly on edge, and if you're not on edge, then they're gonna put you on edge right after that. It's hard to talk about it without spoiling it, obviously, but
Yeah,
I think I would like to come back on here in the future, and hopefully by then you'll have seen the film, and we can delve back into it.
I'm definitely going to go see it this weekend.
Yeah.
Better than Evil Dead Rises or Scream 6 this year? I mean, those are the two.
Scream 6, I haven't checked out Evil Dead Rises, but Scream 6, it's better than Scream 6 by miles. I was actually a bigger fan of Scream 5 than Scream 6, actually.
Really? I was
Yeah,
like Scream 6.
I liked Scream 6. I don't know. I would rank it towards like the bottom of my Scream rankings.
I put it up right there, up there,
Really?
original.
No,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I am with Scream 5. I mean, I could do a Scream ranking right now.
Okay, let me hear it. Shoot it.
So the original number one, that's pretty commonplace. I would say my two spot, I'm gonna have to go with Scream 4. Um, and my three spot, I'm gonna go with Scream 5. And my four spot, Scream 2. And then last, I'm gonna go with Scream 3. I really dislike Scream 3.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really dislike Scream 3. I think it's honestly a shit show.
Let me let me write down mine a second. Okay, Scream 1 is definitely number one.
Oh yeah, there's no beating that. I think everyone
Yeah.
feels that way.
Scream 6 for me is number 2.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I like Scream 6 though. I mean, I live in New York, so I mean, it was kind of relatable to me to some degrees, like seeing it takes place in New York, but I don't know. I like Scream 5 a lot better.
I mean, it was such a for me, it was such a vicious ghost face.
Yes, that is true.
Unpredictable ghost face. Now,
I thought it was very predictable.
But my biggest issue with fucking Scream 6, it's not a perfect movie at all.
Mm-hmm.
The last 25% in the movie fucking let the whole fucking like there was this up to the 75% of the movie, it was a perfect fucking movie, horror movie. And then that last 25% fucking just boom,
Yeah.
like it went down to fucking from 10 to
I don't
0.
like the killers. Like I don't like the killer reveal. I felt it was very predictable. If anyone else in that film was the killer, I would be very happy.
It went from 10 to fucking 0 quick.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think leading up to the final act, at the very back end of the final act, I think it was very good. I still think it was good, even the ending. I don't know. I felt it could have been a little better in some areas. I felt it was too predictable. That was my biggest gripe with it. It was just too predictable with killers.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the killers within like the first 15 to 20 minutes of the film.
I literally did.
Yeah.
I was saying the first 20 minutes, I was like, oh, okay.
Literally one of the lines.
But I knew who one of the killers was. I would say I knew who one of the killers was.
I knew it was the dad.
Like right off.
Yeah. And I knew the daughter didn't die, like when she apparently quote unquote died. I knew she didn't actually die. I mean, I knew it was the dad though, like in like his second scene.
Yeah, it was like right off. I knew.
I mean, he made like a little throwaway line, but I caught it. Yeah. Scream 5, on the other hand, amazing, in my opinion.
I think Scream 4 is amazing. So okay,
I love Scream 4 too.
Scream 4 is amazing.
Scream 4 is amazing.
Scream 4.
I know, it's ridiculous.
All right, so I'm going 1, 6, 4.
I mean, I love Scream 4 mainly because of Emma Roberts as well. She's very attractive, and I think she's a great actress. She was a great Ghostface.
So I think I'm a little off from yours. I'm going 1, 6, 4, 2, 5, 3.
2, 5. Really, 5 that low?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really enjoyed 5. I liked how meta it was to just film goers in general nowadays, and I don't know. I just thought it was a really nice build up. I like Jack Quaid, so I like the fact that he was the killer. I don't know. I liked it.
But I don't hate any of the Scream movies. The Scream series has been a consistent quality series.
That's the biggest takeaway with that.
Yes, I mean, there's not any of those movies that I hate. I mean, there's some that I don't like as much as others.
Yeah.
But the Scream series has been it's been an excellent horror series.
Yes, I agree. I think personally, I view Scream 3 as a bad movie. Like, I just don't view that as a quality film. But I can definitely agree with everything else being of consistent level, you know.
I mean, I'm saying like thinking it about it. Is Scream not the best horror series franchise ever
It
created?
it definitely is because I mean it's given itself time to breathe, right? It hasn't pumped out like 10 movies in 10 years, right? We've had time to breathe, and each time it does come back, it's consistent and it's very well made and usually made with passion.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there, like thinking about other
Yeah.
horror franchises, and there's at least one horrible movie in every horror franchise.
I think on the subject of modern horror and horror franchises, I think Talk to Me is going to be the next big great horror
Oh,
franchise.
see, now I really gotta see this movie now.
No, dude,
Really,
trust me. Like, yeah, the best thing about it is it's gonna work very well as an anthology series, like to where
uh,
we don't have to have the same characters, you know.
yeah,
You'll understand more once you see it. We can definitely message about it.
uh,
I think it's gonna be the next great series.
yeah, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
All right, so Sid, where can everyone find you, my friend?
In terms of finding out my work,
Media and
you
so
guys,
forth.
yeah, you guys can find me on Instagram at Sid Cinematics, on YouTube, same thing at Sid Cinematics. You can also review the film Headstone of Solitude on Letterboxd as well. I'm not sure if you're a Letterboxd user. Um, it's a movie review app, and you can find the film on there and leave it a review. But yeah, thank you all for listening to me go on here, and thank you to Travis for the opportunity. And I hope you all check out my work. I'd love to be back on here in the future. That'd be very cool. And yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, everyone, listen. In my description is the link to the YouTube. Please check out Headstones of Solitude. Um, Also follow Sid on social media. Sid, when your next movie gets into like that post
Mhm.
production, come on back on, man.
Awesome. Thank you,
Talk about
man.
that.
I
And by then,
appreciate that.
and no problem. And by then, we can talk about Talk to Me.
All right. There we go, man. All right. Thank you so
But
much, man.
it's been a pleasure for you coming on.
Yep.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. Y'all take care. Have a good night.